everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. It's late in the morning. My haircut was terrible. Anyway, we're back with the director's cut. So, um, I thought I was gonna say something else. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with, season 2, episode 2. I know where they are. Again, yes, it is very late in the morning. So, how I do this, if you didn't see the first one, is I just have it on YouTube. I go through the entire thing, and I have my takes on that scene or how that was. So, I do want to say the open scene was the worst scene to film. Well, that's a lie. It wasn't the greatest scene, okay? Because I had underestimated this actually. So, I had thought previously that this would not be long. You can definitely see here, it just sort of stops. Like, look, no movement. It's playing right now, and there's no movement. So, there's that, right? So, I had not enough taken, and that was filmed so long after that I just couldn't edit more in. So this part right here, where it's a flashback, this is supposed to be the entire thing, right? And it was short. And it's not so short that you can't see it, but it's short that it doesn't cover all of the audio. So that's why it's just all this. So, yeah, that sucked because I had this really cool thing. It was gonna be so cool, and it was just ruined. It is my own fault though. So yeah, I mean it's just a shred, and then there's more, and it was just a straight 3 minutes essentially. It was just that. I do want to mention on the silhouette opening for the J-Dog Studios. Um, I had made it to where it's supposed to be like their silhouettes, right? Which is why their backs are turned and why it looks like that, and they were just gonna all look up. If I would have known how to make it, sorry, if I would have known how to make it like actual shadows, then they would have been like shadows. But anyway, so there's that. The Deadpool opening was inspired by Absolute Cinema. I mean, it's just pretty obvious. I did all those in like a day. So there was that. And then this entire episode is basically like the filler episode almost, where it's just mostly all talking, more story building. In the future, I do want every episode to be like this, with, not copy paste photos to make it go along. I want it to all be, I want talking to actually like be important in the show. So yeah, I mean it's just more filler. Not that any of this wasn't important, right? It was all building. I think I could have spaced it out because in episode 4, which we'll get to eventually, you know, it, I can't think. In episode 4, it was definitely a shorter episode than what it probably could have been. Sorry, I'm telling you, it is early in the morning. It's like 3 in the morning. So I didn't want to mention on the Spider People, I think I might have mentioned it on the last one. They had such an importance, at least, this Spider-Man and then Miles, because in another reality, we were supposed to go on and do a lot of Spider-Verse films. I found in the middle of this that it would just be to make something, not to actually carry it along. And if I want to make this the best universe for you guys to watch and then for me to, make and create, doing all those Spider-Man, films would just be pointless to me. Um, so this scene, um, this scene originally and in the script, originally had said, Rogue brings Cap up, and that didn't happen just because I had no stand at this time. It broke about sometime in the middle of filming this, and so it broke, and so I couldn't add Rogue flying in at all, just because I couldn't figure it out. You would have seen my hands, and that's the last thing you needed. But yeah, so I think it would have looked cooler, and I would have explained how he got here. And something I do want to mention that I ended up forgetting in post, during the editing, is it is really supposed to say the locations on the bottom left. I had forgotten to do that, and so when I had realized that, it was already too late, because I think I had realized I hadn't been doing it since episode 3 is when I realized. So that's on me, right? And originally in the old season 2, that I had planned, which we'll go through that in the last episode. The original season 2 I had planned, this was not supposed to be a Cap and Widow. It's supposed to be a Cap and Bucky. But I never. Excuse me. But I never got around to getting a Bucky figure, let alone end up going with that. So going up with Widow, it felt better, and then obviously they had connections, so it was better, my opinion. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see another editing mistake on me. Maybe it's bad that I'm pointing all this out, but I was supposed to blur out his middle or his pointer just for the fun of it. So I think one of the problems I have here, and this may just be me limited to my I can't think to my sets, with all of this background stuff. Like it's out of scale and it doesn't fit. So that's why with like Avengers Tower, there's like a lot of black just so that it looks like a tower. So and then definitely like the editing powers wise, they got fixed definitely later than what they should have, because I found out Cassidy, my second in command, sent me an app, and unfortunately it was too late that I had found it to where I could do it. And going back, I mean, you have to individually import every picture, so I had to take the picture from here, crop it down, make it a picture, and then I had to send it over. And it was not worth redoing it. So again, with this kid scene, it was, my house was here. He was supposed to have an important part. I would definitely like in the future to keep having moments like this where it's just characters talking, um, but where they're moving, right? Because I think I struggle with that. And again, I had no stance, so like I couldn't be like, like move picture, like I tried my hardest, but yeah. Something I want to point out is the animation that the entire show is on is I don't know how to explain it, but it's not where you can like here, let me use my hand. It's not where you can individually see it like that. It's like it cuts like boom, boom. Like so that'd be three pictures. It's like if you're got a fist and you're going at someone, instead of going like it'd be like right. And I just like the look of that because it gives me across the Spider-Verse and into the Spider-Verse whatever vibes, and I think that it looks really cool. But definitely would like work on feet and stuff. It's just I didn't have it at the time. I would definitely mostly love to have Kurt move a whole lot more because I take my inspiration on how the characters move from movies or TV shows, and I had not watched X-Men 97 until it was done filming, so I couldn't see. Excuse me. I couldn't see how he moved, and then like watching X2. I mean, he didn't, bounce around every 5 seconds. So I would change that in his behavior. And for things like explosions, I would like to change those. Right? I think this shot was really good. I do wish something better could have happened with him right there, and then with her putting her foot, but you can't do much. I thought this part was kind of cool, but the end with fireworks, I mean, they just look better in episode 5. I think this hurt scene was really cool. Just, I think it showed more of his bouncing in this, but it wasn't the best it could have been. The web swinging was atrocious. I will say that. I didn't like how I did that. So originally, the Miles getting flown up into the air by Acres, originally, that was supposed to be him just flying up in the air. Okay, so originally, let me just break this down because I skipped this entire part, right? So originally, and it is a deleted scene technically because I didn't use it from script, but originally, what would happen was, and I cut it out because I couldn't add it because it just looked terrible. But originally, Miles would be flown up into the air, and Icarus would fling them down, instantly, right? I mean, I think he would actually. Yeah, he would fling them down, but what would happen was the Thing would talk to Human Torch or Johnny, and he would say, "Do you notice something's weird at the tower or the HQ?" And then they would see Miles get flown up into the air and slung down, and then they would come and and it actually explains why Wood even joined up. So they would get in there, Blackbird and Cap would get on a motorcycle, and he would take Widow with him, and they would come, and then Spider-Man and the Red and Black would see Miles on the ground, and then they would go and try to get Icarus, and it was just a lot of work, and I couldn't add it comfortably. Right, it would look really bad, so I couldn't add it. So that was episode 2. I know where they are, so I'm gonna cut, and we're gonna look at episode 3. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's start off the bat. So, I really, really, really am upset about some things audio wise. Because a lot of things they were just messed up, and a lot of screen moments I messed up myself, such as this. Um, I messed up him Spider-Man screaming for Chavez a lot. And I would change it, um, but that was messed up. And then, so yeah, I messed that up. I thought that this part was really, it was one of the first ideas I had thought up of for season 2. Because originally in my season 2, which again we'll look at it in episode 5, Chavez and Spider-Man weren't gonna have a relationship, or the start of one technically. And so I thought when I had finally come up with that idea, I had thought of what if I were to have this moment where it's sort of, because what I wanted to do, and what I'll eventually do when we go back to remastering season 1 and then doing the Avengers Before the War, is I want to go back and gradually make Spider-Man Chavez have a thing, right? And we haven't written anything for War or the remasters, right? So what I would like to do is in Before the War have them have a friendship, and then slowly do things in that episode or in that movie that are a little weird. And then in season 1 have more of those moments, and then obviously in season 2 have these moments. So let's just keep going. I couldn't think for a minute what I wanted to say. This shot, though, I will say, when once again, okay, I don't know why I'm not skipping. That's why I don't skip. Dang it. One second. This part, I had a lot of fun doing that one part. It's certain ways that make doing this fun is when I do shots like that where my phone is like almost like this, and I'm taking the shot, and then editing makes it look so cool, and like looks like that. I mean, it was so fun. And then like just when it's sideways like this, it is just so fun to do. So originally, what was gonna happen was, and obviously it just came down to I didn't have the resources to do it. Was Icarus didn't fly him through buildings that had been previously destroyed from Bison in New York. That didn't end up working out, which is unfortunate because that would have looked really cool. And originally, the storm was supposed to have her inside of the building still. But I changed it to where they're on top just so that it would be cool. And characters like Storm or any Flyers, they got slack the most because they were the most unused. It's pretty obvious to know there was no Human Torch. There was barely who's another Flyer that I have on here? There's barely Iron Man flying. Chavez was rarely flying. The only ones who ever flew a bunch were Psycho Spider and Icarus, and even then they were teleported and flying here and there. So those characters just come down to I can't I don't have stands for that at this time. It just all comes down to I don't have resources for why things are cut or why things just don't work out. So also blood, I would like to figure out a way that I make it work, right? I tested it here, it wasn't that great. And then even there with the Icarus's blood that was on his hands, I was trying to like make it like invincible to where like the blood just kind of flies away. And again with the silhouettes, the I love when I do these Deadpool ones. Just because when I do them, I can do whatever I want, right? I don't have to have continuity. I don't have to have anyone else. So doing things like that where you're just showing about if he can get paid, it's so fun to do. I love it so much. I feel like with this, there was something that I had done differently. I can't think. I want to say there was something that I did specifically here. Oh, that's right. So originally, Jean was supposed to be screaming throughout this, or at the end at least, but it didn't work out. But between just this and then on my VA, it wouldn't work out. Which is fine. I think it's still good enough. But well, something I want to point out really quickly. And I want to make a video or even put it at the end of the director's cut of doing my lore for this universe, because it's a lot different than MCU, and I'll go ahead and tell y'all. There's history between Jean and Wolverine, and there's a reason why he's not so Wolverine with Jean. But I'll go over that in hopefully the end of this director's cut, possibly in a separate video, maybe some of it in this, and then a separate video. I don't know. We'll see. And even this, right? Down to resources, right? Falcon was supposed to have a bigger role. Sam, I remember he was supposed to have a bigger role. Or not. And War Machine, like he was cut from this essentially, right? It was unfortunate. But I do think that what I did with him was good. And I did like how it turned out. It's just like, I guess when you look at it, there's always something that you can improve on, that you can do, that you wish you had done. And these guys were something that I definitely do. Now, out of anything, I would say episode 3 was most 100% a filler episode. Like, the entire point of this episode, alright, the entire point of this episode was, the part where they see the trap, right? But it ultimately just leads up to this smile fight. And it's just like, I mean, it's good, right? I'm very happy with this. And this was a Cassidy scene, right? But for this to be an entire 1 episode, I mean, it's just whatever. And then here, um, and like most everything before the final episode, it was all experimental, right? So I experimented with this. It's not what the final looks like if you've seen it, right? Um, but I can't pause it. But yeah. So basically, I think episode 3 is the weakest link out of, well, may not be true. I would say I put way too much into episode 2 that led the next 2 episodes to be kind of trash. Which is unfortunate, right? I mean, it's all just it's all just, experiment, see what works, see what doesn't work, and yeah. So I mean, it's all experimental. So let's get on to the next episode. All right, so I want to step in real quickly and say that this is the end of the video. I haven't been able to. I don't have a laptop, right? So I don't upload from that. I load from my phone. My phone breaks. It shuts down. It's in the iPhone 13, and I just can't handle uploading past 40 minutes. I know I have an hour and 15-minute video on my channel. That took like 3 days to upload. So in order for my phone not to be bricked for like a day or two, these will be cut too. I did film them all on the same day. The reason why it took so long instead of the 22nd like I originally had was because I was gonna add the lore and just make it longer. That didn't work out at all. Just because, for one, I had put that off doing for a few days because I was writing all the lore. But I couldn't. I was kind of rushing it, and I didn't want to rush it. So yeah. So I'm not done yet. With these directors technically. Since I got to do the lore. Don't know if I'll actually have that as like directors or just have it as lore. But yeah, so I'll get around to it. I want to take my time on it, write good on it, and so yeah, that was the end of that video. In fact, it was actually filmed. I'm trying to think. Maybe a day or 2 days before this upload. I don't know, honestly. When it'll get uploaded, right? Anyway, that was the end of the video. So peace, bye, love you, cheers, and I'll see you all in an hour because I want to have it all like an hour difference. So yeah, peace, bye, love you, cheers, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.